In Egypt, the world science accumulates because here the world learned how to cultivate. On the banks of the river Nile, the Egyptians developed the first agricultural civilization in history. Habi, god of the Nile, was the symbol of worship. The Nile, which is the source of all human beings, plants and animals' life. Egyptians used plants and animals as alphabetical symbols in writing. They also used astrology and chronology in organizing agriculture. Egyptians used arts to show harvest seasons and worship rituals. In eternity, pharaohs mastered architecture after they stabilized by the river which they worshipped, having a land to cultivate along with their domestic animals. Tuhut, the god of science, knowledge, medicine, agricultural seasons, and writing. Osiris, god of agriculture, resurrection, and first caller to eradicate illiteracy, first lawmaker, and the first to promote civilization. On the papyrus, that deeply rooted Egyptian plant, where Egyptians recorded their eternal history, showing the exact means of Egyptian agriculture throughout years of history. Throughout 7,000 years, Egypt has made a record in history, starting from using plough in cultivation to our modern age, the age of genetic engineering and high technology. Egyptian plantation marched on, generation after another, till agriculture became the main focus and got its basic principles in most of the educational and academic institutions. Through the successive Egyptian governments, Egyptian agriculture theories was firmly established with its specific research centers wherein scientists work in and graduate in. Researchers in all fields of agriculture are served by local agricultural libraries. In response to the comprehensive renaissance that Egypt witnessed under the reign of President Hosni Mubarak and under his sponsorship for all development projects to cope with the new technology to develop all scientific achievements in agriculture. Egypt realized the need for an agricultural library to provide for the scientists, researchers, and investigators with the best technologies of the 21st century libraries, where they can find the main outline of the modern intellectual production in agriculture. The Egyptian National Agricultural Library was established to meet the needs of all scientific researchers and to boost the ongoing cooperation between the Egyptian government, represented by the Ministry of Agriculture and Land Reclamation, and the American government, represented by the American Agency for International Development and the American Department of Agriculture. Egyptian National Agricultural Library is one of the best achievements of the National Agricultural Research Project, which is one of the greatest projects financed by the American Agency for International Development in Egypt. The American side contributed with $6 million in this project, while the Egyptian side contributed with more than $3 million. The library's area is about 3,200 square meters, having its location among the agricultural research centers and institutions. This library is the first national agricultural library in the Middle East, completely established on the most sophisticated systems of classification, indexing, and electronic retrieval, also based on computer systems, sophisticated means of communications, in addition to the traditional library services. This is a highly developed computer. Its storage capacity is 40,000 million bytes. Through this computer, we can access in different indexes of different sources in few seconds. This sophisticated computer can serve all the library visitors. Here, the visitors of the library can communicate directly with international libraries, like the American National Agricultural Library, the Library of Congress, the American Universities Libraries, all this through the international network, Internet. Thus, it gives the researchers the chance to acknowledge the most up-to-date books and references all over the world. The library, in order to distribute its services all over the country for all academic institutions, provided number of channels for local communication, which can directly access the central computer of the library. Now the library got 15,000 books, 700 periodicals in all agricultural and environmental subjects. By the year 2000, the number of books will increase to 40,000 and 1,000 periodicals. This is the microforms division, where we have microfilm and microfiche of 16,000 academic theses and 5,000 back issues of periodicals. Here are readers and reader printers of microforms. The library provides for about 50 agricultural database on CDs, updated periodically. Reading area, books area, periodicals area. All established according to the modern specifications of the international libraries. A room for rare collections. Here we have incarnabula and manuscripts of historical values. Audiovisual materials. There is also a special section providing database and applying different kinds of multimedia on CDs to enrich the local and international libraries, the research and academic institution libraries which need such services. The library has an integrated security system that controls access and covers reading areas by day and night. The security system depends upon 12 cameras and 3 monitors that cover all the library quarters. Magnetic card readers are used for opening the most important areas, such as the computer rooms and the CD-ROM service area. And because utilizing human resources is one of basic principles for development, the library is keen to develop the skills of its staff. It sent a number of its staff to the United States for training, where they trained and acknowledged the most up-to-date technology of the libraries in American National Agricultural Libraries and the Library of Congress. The Egyptian National Agricultural Library is the cornerstone for Agriculture Network, Pan-Egypt, crowning the international cooperation for the sake of development. The establishment of this library is a cultural starting point for Egypt, through which Egypt can cope with the information revolution of the 21st century.